because the time has come for us to realize that we are not our minds, we're not our thoughts, we're not our accomplishments, our achievements, we're not our bodies. We identify with all of these things. We have these things, but we are not this. And the time has come to step into our own power and into who we really are. So it's my passion to work with people to help them to access their truth so that they can live from their truth and be creative and tap into their intuition rather than from their conditioning.
Ooh, that's a great
Mm,
quote, great final quote. Tap into your intuition instead of the conditioning. So I love it. Okay,
mm,
so one question that does come up, and that's all brilliant. And thanks for the backstory. It sounds like, yeah,
yeah.
that's fascinating that you were very in touch from an early age with this idea that as you came into this world, you still had a connection with what is before and after this life that we have in this human experience. Very, very interesting. So one thing that came up is when you're mentioning to, you're not, your life circumstances, you're not certain things. So then what would you, when you're working with people, what do you look at as what you are then? Is it something that's like less tangible, like you are? How would you fill that in, and how would you help somebody find that about like what you are, what
Well,
you truly are?
there is a process because I've structured the three stages of awareness, and that's a structure. But also, when I'm working with people, I work with them depending on their needs and depending on who they are and what's going on in their lives.
Mm,
But at the end of it, they realize that they are not the circumstances of their lives. Instead, they are eternal, infinite beings with access to, the quantum field, divine intelligence, divine love. And they can tap into this. They realize it in their heart and soul. I own it now. I have a gift for seeing people beyond their conditioning. So I activate them.
mm,
But I don't in any way want to say, oh, I do this. It's they do it. They have the power. My whole thing is to make it, they're the ones with the power. So I encourage them and I uplift them always. They're the ones with the power. I'm the facilitator.
yes,
Um,
yes,
Very important,
right.
because some people want permission, and I see some people saying, "Oh, I give you permission," and that feels contracted to me.
Right.
No, even if I'm working with them, I want them to give themselves permission. But I do have a gift for seeing a person beyond their conditioning to the beauty and the magnificence of who they really are. So I do hold that container and I activate them. But when they've been through the program, or they don't even have to go through the program. It can happen even from reading the book. People have got back to me and said it as well. It's just this visceral feeling where they realize, oh my God, it's real.
Mm,
Um, and they realize that they're eternal and they're infinite because you can feel that infinity, and you're not, because I don't have any issue with death, for example.
mm,
Um, because to me, there's no such thing. Now, obviously, the physical body dies, but that's it. I mean, it's
right.
like if you have a haircut or something and the hair is on the floor, you don't need it anymore. You don't think about it. It's just gone. And I know that's a bit weird, but the body I mean, it's magnificent and it's a miracle, but it's still a vessel that we use. I mean, it's an amazing temple, but it's temporary. We're not temporary. You are
Mm,
not temporary. Love is real. Unconditional divine love is what is real. You are that. You are oneness. You are presence itself. You are real. The body is temporary. It's going to come and go. And
yeah.
it's actually a powerful meditation to meditate on that, not in a morbid way or anything. But there's
Right.
absolutely no reason to be scared of death
Mm,
because you don't die. It,
right.
you just don't. It's just a movement
Movement.
in consciousness.
Yeah.
It's just a further expansion where you drop the body and there's nothing to be scared of. Everybody's so scared of, I mean, obviously, I don't mean to be flippant. It's just because I never forgot where I came from. I'm like, oh, it's so beautiful. It's so profoundly, ineffably beautiful.
Mm,
You know, I don't want that to be taken up the wrong way, though. Obviously, we've work
sure.
to do here, and let's stay here for
Yeah.
the perfect time and enjoy every moment. I'm
Right.
just saying, maybe let go of the fear of death,
Yeah.
because we realize you're eternal, and so incredibly expansive and connected to, when I say oneness, I mean, it's real. It's real. Some people might say God or source or the superconscious or whatever. It
Right.
doesn't matter. You can't name
Yeah.
it. I mean, don't even try.
Right.
But it is actually real, and it's who we really are. Like, that's the
Yeah.
truth of who we are.
So I love this.
One
And
very handy little tool you can use that pops into my mind right now, because the mind loves things to be proven to it. We don't need that. Who we really are doesn't, but the mind, loves it. Say you're thinking of something. Say, like right now, you just think of an object or something. Say you think of a tree or something. And when you think of that tree, do you notice that there's distance between yourself and that thought? Distance between you and the thought. You are not the thought. You can feel that I am actually not this thought. It's outside of you.
Gotcha. Yeah.
So if you can keep your thoughts kind of outside of you and don't wrap them around you, like you own them or they are you, it's like a disidentification. And then to clear your mind, the amazing thing to do is to meditate. What I do every day, like, talk about practical. If I find that you're filling up with too many thoughts, I go outside and I ground myself and I become present. Now, I know a lot of people say, oh, become present. Well, really, all you have to do is don't give up and give yourself, just a couple of minutes, and naturally your mind will calm down. So you can, if you want, you can put your hand on your heart. I literally ground myself. I posted a video today about this. I've been grounding for years and years and years, because it gets rid of EMF, and it clears your mind. Because we're electromagnetic beings. We're not just physical, biological beings. We're multidimensional beings. And so this is all to do with electricity. And believe it or not, it's an amazing way to clear your biofield and your mental body. So that's barefoot on the earth. But if you're very cold, like in Canada or Ireland, come winter time, you're going to be a bit freezing. So I just go out and I put my hand on a tree, on a living tree.
Okay.
You're grounded. Like, you can measure this. You get this little machine that measures it. You just touch something and the numbers go up. It's amazing.
So
Like,
cool.
it's proven. It is. That's so
amazing.
cool.
Very
I
cool.
can't start talking about this because I won't stop. Anyway, you can measure this, and so you make sure you're grounded. Literally, I mean, come on, what could be easier? Touch a tree. You're gonna have to get a park, anywhere. You can meditate and picture your root chakra going down to the earth if you want. But if you can, it's amazing if you can get grounded. If you want, you can put your hand on your heart, just because then you're shifting, you're dropping down from the monkey mind into your heart, and you just become present. Of course, being out in nature is so healing. Now, if you're going to stand there, you might, and you're not used to it, you might find yourself going, hey, nothing's happening. Come on, nothing's happening. I'm going now. Give up. Don't give up. Just don't. Like, give it even 2 minutes, and don't have any expectations, because people go into meditation like they want to grab something from the now. But you can't grab anything from the now, because the now is just a now. And if you go deeper, you are the present moment. Like, you are presence itself. You can't grab something from it because it's always out of arm's reach, always out. But that's because you're not separate from it. Stop thinking that people think they're, sorry, I'm not talking to you, Matt. One thinks, people think that they're separate from it, but that's what I'm trying to say. If you can just come into yourself and realize, oh my God, I'm not separate from this. It's part of who I am. And always remember, don't give it so much importance. The mind chatter, thoughts, stop giving it so much importance. Don't we give it so much importance? And we think and we think and we think, because, we have to figure it out, because we're not safe unless we figure it out. That's what the mind has us believe.
Right.
But it's not true. It's not true. You are safe now. Your safety itself. Death isn't real. I mean, like the ultimate fear, it's not even real. You are safe. I mean, obviously, I'm saying this, and if you are in an unsafe situation, which I hope you're not, obviously you get yourself to safety. I'm talking about everyday circumstances here. So that's a huge thing. That's a huge insight that came to me. It took me a while. Yeah. for it to sink in. I kind of resisted that one. And stop giving things so much importance, because that adds to the mind chatter.
Right.
It just clutters up your mind, this insatiable addiction to figure everything out. Oh my God, I'm remembering what it was like to figure everything out. Like, it's enough to drive you insane. That's because you're identifying with the ego. You're identifying with the conditioned self, you know, because you're conditioned from 0 to 7. Well, and before, we won't even go there, but where we didn't have any filters and we absorbed everything without filters from parents and teachers and society, like you were talking about. And we developed a false self. And we disconnect from who we really are, and then our trust gets broken. And we protect ourselves, we don't feel safe, and we put walls up, and then the chatter and the trying to figure everything out. None of that is real. None of that is you. So I really wish people would stop placing so much importance on, say there's a situation in your life that the mind is just going nonstop. Stop giving it so much importance. Instead, shift your awareness to the truth and the beauty of who you really are. And this happens naturally when you're out in nature, when you become present, when you sit in stillness, because the power and the magic is in silence. Silence is filled with, silence isn't like empty. It's not a void. It's filled with divine love. Like, you can connect with this quantum field of intelligence and like mold what you place your attention on. You can mold your life by connecting with this field. And you can connect with it through stillness, because you expand and you can start to feel it. The mind chatter will block you until you take control of that by saying, I'm not giving you my power. You're not me. Do you know what I mean?
I
that
do.
Really worked. It really worked.
One thing that comes up for me that, for example, like when I'm in traffic, the kind of traffic that's that stop-start traffic, I get very claustrophobic. I have these, like, I wouldn't say motion sickness, but just the sight of it. I start getting kind of woozy. So that is where I'm getting into a spot that, like, you know, it's starting to flirt with the idea that I'm unsafe. And that is definitely where there's a bit more mind chatter. There's certainly not a chance for me to pull over and get grounded. So in a situation like that, and I'll just use that as like, you know, there'll be the equivalent of that for everybody. What would you recommend doing in that case? Is it just a matter of like breathing? Because certainly I can't go into a meditation when I'm stop-start traffic. What other things could I do in that instance that would, you know, pull me back down and get me into like a better spot?
Two things that come up. One, in the moment, you can, if you're stopped, obviously, and I know this is hard to do, and obviously safety first, eyes on the road. But if you know there's like a mile of traffic in front of you, close your eyes momentarily, put your hand on your heart and breathe, and focus on your breathing and soothe yourself. And literally talk to that. There's a part of you that probably something happened in the past to make you claustrophobic, and just soothe that part of you. Now, it depends on the circumstances. It's not really the time. I mean, imagine if you had children in the car or you're driving, you have to focus. You don't want to start crying because literally tears in your eyes. It's really not that safe. So what I would say to you and anybody listening, if something like that coming up, don't wait. Don't wait. You know that you have this feeling of claustrophobia. And one thing I'd say, don't, and you didn't, I don't think, but don't ever say my claustrophobia or my whatever it is. Just say the sensation that I'm feeling. Again, see what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not you.
Right.
Separate it from you, put it outside yourself. If you know you have this, do something about it now before you're in the next traffic jam. You know what I mean? Don't wait. So this is what I mean about going into this stillness. When you have any period of time, I know we're all busy, nobody can afford an hour or whatever, but even if you have 5 minutes, go outside and literally use that, or whenever it comes up. You don't have to be so strategic about it. No, maybe you should though, if it's coming up. Actually, I would. And just close your eyes and go into the silence and invite the energy up. Feel safe, soothe yourself. Literally, hand on your heart, you can hold yourself. Get grounded, make sure you're safe, make sure you're in a safe place, and invite the energy up very lovingly. And it's amazing. It kind of happens like magic. One of the steps in my becoming aware listening practice is soften to listen. So that's when you kind of drop all resistance, because we're going through life and it's sometimes flight or fight, and it's, and it's survival, and it's, it's that kind of energy, that energy. So just like completely relax your body and give yourself permission to soften. And what happens in this softening is your higher self knows. It knows. You will be given that energy, and the energy will arise when you're ready and when you're in allowance of it. And you can allow it up and out. So you simply invite it. And what usually happens is you might get a memory. Now, this mightn't happen, but it usually does. You might get a memory of something that happened in your past. Say somebody locked you in a wardrobe or something. And at a certain age, go back to the age when you can, or when can you remember it first? And then you might go, actually, I think I was about 7. I got locked in a wardrobe or something like that, And then you'll feel probably the way you did then, but it's absolutely fine. You're detached from that. It's not happening. And you just allow it up and out. You do not have to relive it. You allow it up and out. This is when you tune into your body. Your body is going to give you some kind of a signal. Like you might notice a tightness in your solar plexus, or a tightness in your chest or your throat, because there are 3 main centers, feeling centers: throat, heart, solar plexus. So usually, in my experience, it's solar plexus, and then very often, tightness in the chest. So something will come up, some energy will come up. Don't judge it. Allow it to flow. Don't be afraid of it. Just allow it up and out. Sometimes you might yawn. That's literally releasing from the throat chakra. Very often, like, tears will come. So just cry. Give yourself permission to cry, because just say it was something that happened when you were 7, and maybe you didn't allow yourself at that time to cry. Or sometimes you want to run away or you want to get out. Just say you were banging and you froze in terror. Your body might want to move. You might want to kick. Allow it. Allow yourself to, even on the spot, or to run away. Literally allow anything that's coming up to happen. Usually 95% of the time, it's going to be crying or yawning or something. But if you want to move your legs. Because maybe when you were a child, you didn't, you were stuck somewhere and you couldn't. So that somatic reaction has to happen so that frozen energy, that standing wave, can be released out of your biofield forever.
Yeah.
And then you're free. You're free. I mean, it's amazing. It's amazing. Oh my God. It's happened so many times to me and to the people I work with.
Yeah. It's
so
like a
amazing.
discharge, an energetic discharge, whether it's like, like arms, legs, like you say, crying, maybe laughing, I'm sure that, right?
Laughing has happened several times. Laughing, because I wasn't allowed to laugh very often. It's so frigging Victorian. Yeah, it could be laughing.
Right.
I remember giggling in school. You weren't allowed to giggle.
Oh, yeah.
Rubbish.
Oh,
yeah. Nervous giggling.
And then somebody else beside you starts doing it, and then you're egging each other on. It's like harmonizing with each other, and it's just like you don't even remember why you're giggling in the first place, right? Yeah.
You see his shoulders moving. It's like, God, oh
God. Right. And then somebody snorts because they're trying to hold it, right? I'm like, oh, that's it. It's done now. Such a great feeling. Such a great feeling.
It is great, but it's still repressed. It's still repressed, Matt. So you're right. If you feel like laughing, laugh. And another thing, shaking.
Yes.
Shaking. Shake your body. I do that. I do this for years, and I've never seen anybody else do it. But say I was in the car or something, and it's stopped, or even as a passenger or driving or whatever, and you get this kind of shock, and you can feel the cortisol. You can feel the stress hormones coursing through your body. So I go like this to get them out. I've done that since I was a child. And I've never seen anybody else do it. I don't give a crap. I don't care. I just do this. I don't care what I look like anymore to anybody. And it goes. It goes.
Yeah.
You're literally, you're discharging. You're shaking it off.
Yes. Oh, I love
this.
So
I really advise anybody to just shake their body. Like, really bring your body into it. Make it a somatic experience.
Instead of
and that's
keeping
why
it
meditating.
stored in there, right? Yeah. Yes.
Meditating. I will stop talking, but I just keep meditating. No, it can be quite masculine sometimes, which is wonderful. I've just already said I adore the masculine. but to sit in meditation is quite a masculine thing to do. If you want to bring the more feminine energy, whether you are a man or a woman or fluid or whatever, you can bring movement into it. When I just movement, you don't have to do some, amazing dancing or anything, like, because then, it's more, because if you're on your own, it's just like moving your body and being very intuitive. I mean, dance is amazing, but I'm just talking about for this.
Yeah.
Just literally, and it doesn't even have to be graceful. Just move your body. Yeah. Because sitting there for hours, and I've done like 4-hour meditations, I've done longer, but it gets a little bit restrictive. You might want to walk. I do walking meditation all the time. You can meditate anywhere. My thing, once I developed, I kind of wanted my life to be a meditation. So while I'm cooking, or it's just so cool. Oh my God, it's all so cool and exciting.
Yeah.
I'll stop talking. I'll just stop talking.
No, it's brilliant. I love all of this. Yeah, we're getting like, so there's meditation, the different ways of meditation. I know what you mean. It's sometimes when you're sitting or laying there, I will just start kind of intuitively moving, especially when I'm doing like a breath work session that's sort of coupled with the meditation. I find the breath work, like you say, it gets a little bit constrictive. That's how I perceive it. So I have to start, as soon as I start moving my arms and legs in a different way, it really opens me back up. Right. So I love the advice here. I want to get into
intuition.
Yes, exactly. And that's what it is. I just do it. I don't care about how I'm looking because I'm by myself anyways, right?
Yeah.
And it feels great, and it really recharges and rejuvenates the experience for me. So I totally get what you're saying. I've been starting grounding this last summer. I made sure when I was feeling my usual way of avoidance, or my avoidance technique is distracting. So if I have a fear of loneliness or something comes up, oh, I'm not lonely, I'll check my cell phone. Somebody check, you know what I mean? So I often will bring up either an achiever or a distractor energy in order to push those feelings back down. So when I would get those, I would go outside, I would ground, bare feet to ground, to my backyard, watch some clouds, and just allow that energy and get curious about it, right? So that was, and this is new. Like, I'm 41 and I'm just, just getting into this now. So what you're saying is really resonating with me. I really want to talk to you about like the sound healing part, because we've kind of touched on some of the chakras and some of this, like, the biofield, and it's just another way of, and this is going to lead me to another question coming out of it, but the sound healing part is like just another way to unlock some of this energy that there might be a blockage in somebody's like throat, from like the lack of, or perceived lack of, being able to express themselves. So this could be from childhood, it's echoed into their adulthood. And so the sound healing, whether you're talking the tuning forks, the Tibetan singing bowls, even just musical compositions that have these certain frequencies that are literally tuned to certain chakras in your body, can help release that and get the energy going as well. It's been my take on my experience with it. What has been your experience with sound healing? And yes, there will be a question at the end of it that's going to kind of circle back into something else as well. I'm just reminding myself. So
you can also chant or tone. Tone. That I've started to do that because I have a mushroom house, Matt, and it's like a toadstool, and
no way.
it's so cool, and it's heated and it's got electrics and all, but it's got amazing acoustics.
Oh, so cool.
And so I've started to, since I discovered, I didn't do it for this, I didn't I built it for the children, and now they're not using it, and I'm like, God, the acoustics in this is fantastic. So I might, just to challenge myself, record it. And I think I'll do one of those loop, excuse me, get one of those loop things, because I'm being called to do that. But you can tone, and that opens this chakra as well. So I'm in love with sound. I've got this thing about sound. I've got this thing about a couple of things. I've got a thing about helicopters, and everything about sound. And I'm not sure why, but it just gives me, my body responds. It gives me goosebumps, and I get tingles, like here in my crown chakra, with certain frequencies. So I have certain favorite. Oh my God, I love bass as well, because that bass really opens up the root chakra, And I mean, I can feel it. And before I knew anything about healing as such, before I explored using tuning forks, for example, in the biofield, sometimes I just hear a piece of music and there'd be bass in it and I'd be like, wow. And I could really feel it, like it would really ground me. Music is or sound is very primal. And it's very immediate. It's not conceptual. Like you can feel the vibration in your body. And obviously there's, stunningly beautiful pieces of music, which affect your heart and your emotions. And then even drums, like talk about primal and that communication using drums, back, how our ancestors would have expressed themselves. And then, people say, 525 hertz, 525 hertz, for example, is the miracle tone. And I'm kind of like, yeah, maybe. But I think everything can be a miracle. Everything. You can use all tones. You can tune into them, I do have a set of forks and I use them to create frequency, because everything's energy and everything's frequency and sound is frequency. And we can dislodge energy from, when I say biofield, I just mean your energy field. You can dislodge energy using sound. I mean, they use, what is it to if somebody has kidney stones, use sound.
Right.
To dislodge the stones. I mean, it's really powerful, very powerful. And you can hear that. So my work, when you look at it another way, sound, it's so interesting because I noticed, I was aware of the words I was using. It was like harmony, dissonance, frequency. There were a lot of sound, resonance. There were a lot of sound words that I was instinctively using when I was talking about my work. And then I realized that literally you can dislodge energy in your energy field using sound. Now you could just listen to a piece of music, it might happen naturally, but if you really want to, get in there and do it, you can do it with tuning forks. And you can activate a tuning fork, hold it in your energy field, feel and hear the dissonance, and then just stay there for a short period of time, and it harmonizes your field, which is extraordinary. Like, I still can't get over that. But even if you don't do that, you can follow your intuition and listen to music or whatever you want to listen to. Like, everything has a tone. I've actually, this sounds weird. Is it synesthesia? Is that what you call it, where you see, you can feel color or something? I have something that I haven't really looked into, but I think I can hear color. So if I pass by a flower, now it's not hear audibly, it's like an internal hearing. So I've passed by flowers and I can kind of hear a tone from the color. So sound is everywhere in places that we don't even know, because it's like the color spectrum, we don't even know, or the light spectrum, we're not even aware. We're aware of 0.5% of it or something. There's so much that we don't know. And there's so much mystery. Sound is everywhere. And it's just fascinating. It's really fascinating. And yes, you can release a lot using your voice. I mean, how fundamental is your voice? You don't even need instruments. You don't need instruments. But whatever you're drawn to, that's what I'd say. Use your intuition. We'll get very scientifically minded. I mean, I love science and all that, but it's so limited. And you have certain scientists who are like, no, this is not the case, because they just believe in something.
Right.
And they will literally say that's not true because we haven't discovered it yet. Look at all the things that are still mysteries yet to be discovered that it's in existence now. I mean, electricity was around before humans were around.
Right.
Just because it wasn't discovered until, whenever it was discovered.
Yeah.
I mean, we have to be, like little children, and we have to have open minds and stop being so judgmental. And there's, mystery is so delicious. Let's embrace it. Let's embrace the mystery and stop trying to analyze it.
Ooh, I love that. Mystery is delicious. Ooh, very good. Very good.